I'm Maxim Thorne, the CEO of Civic Influencers. And with me today to talk about the Georgia runoff is Patrick Coakley, our Chief of Organizing, Advocacy, and Learning, and our statewide organizer in Georgia, Cornell Duckworth. You will hear the three major things that we're doing to get young voters out to vote in Georgia. Patrick, what are we doing?
Thanks, Maxim. Good afternoon, everyone. We're doing some great stuff in Georgia, and I'm super excited for us to take the enthusiasm and excitement that we had from the midterm elections and continue them into the Georgia runoff. Now, you're going to hear from our colleague Cornell Duckworth a little bit later as he talks about the on-the-ground work we're doing, but I want you to think about a couple of things first. And the first is 25 funded civic influencers that we are activating to get the work started in Georgia across the 9 campuses that are participating. We're going to be working really closely to make sure those young people have the tools and resources they need to get information out about the Georgia runoff. And one of the things we're putting in their hands is a toolkit that we've created to teach young people about a runoff election. Remember that if you're part of that 4 million member group of young people who this is their first time voting, then you might not know about a runoff. You might not know how elections work. So our Georgia Runoff Toolkit will walk young people through what tools they need in order to vote, where they can find their polling places, and using some of our tools that we use also help them make a plan to vote. This is super exciting, and we're super glad to be able to offer it. Now, Cornell's going to tell you a little bit more, but we're also going to be doing some text and phone banking, where we'll reach out to these young people individually through text messaging and through the telephone to make sure that they also have gotten access to these tools and resources and know what steps they need to take in order to participate. Cornell, can you tell us a little bit about what's going to go on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hello, everyone. We have so many exciting events that's coming in for the midterm, the runoff election here in Georgia. On Monday, November 28th, which is the first day of early voting, we will be at Kennesaw State University, and we'll be conducting a dorm storm event in which civic influencers will lead campus organizations in indoor knocking on campus dormitories in effects of Get Out the Vote. We also have another event on Friday, December 2nd, which is the last day of early voting, in which Clark Atlanta University, Spelman, and Morehouse civic influencers will be conducting a March to the Polls event, in which students at the AUC will gather in a common area to march to their nearest polling place. There are some speculation that Atlanta rapper Lil Baby is going to be attending that event as well, too. And then on Tuesday, November 6th, which is actually the runoff election, we have Albany State University kicking off with the Strolls to the Polls event, in which we will have CIs leading the NPHC and other ACU students to the polls as well, too, in Albany, Georgia.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Cornell. We're super excited for this, especially because this is also just sort of the beginning. We're also partnering with national and state-based organizations in Georgia that support young people and support youth voting. And we're really just going to make sure that we're doing everything that's possible to make sure that all young people in the area can access their civic power and raise their civic voice.
Thank you, Patrick. And remember, everyone, how important it is to change power or not.